Live from the National News Studio, Sri Lanka.
Good evening. This is the National News Telecast. I'm Uvin Hettiarachchi.
I'm Delanjali Ananda, and these are headlines for tonight. The United Nations grant $4.5 million to Sri Lanka through the emergency response mechanism. $34 million more is scheduled to be provided. The USA says any support required will be extended to rebuild Sri Lanka under the leadership of President Andra Kumara Dissanayake. The government provides new loan facilities to disaster-hit industries. Collection of data on damaged businesses and properties commenced. 25,000 rupees allowance to clean the religious venues affected by the disaster. Several districts have been issued with warnings on severe lightning. The government focuses attention to import several essential food items to control artificial price increase. Fire erupted in resident building in China, claims 12 lives.
Now to those and more stories in detail. On today's top story, the United Nations says its humanitarian priority plan has been implemented, aiming to restore the disaster-hit people in Sri Lanka.
The United Nations resident coordinator in Sri Lanka, Marc-André Franche, made these remarks at a media briefing held in Colombo today. He stressed that support of the international community is needed to provide long and short-term solutions as response for this emergency situation. The government has already implemented the required program for this purpose. The United Nations resident coordinator said, therefore, all international stakeholders should extend their support to this move.
So this support is for 4 months, 3-4 months. This is really in the short term to make sure that people stay alive, stay healthy, and are able to recover in the medium to long term. You mean the broader land and housing crisis, or the one that has been caused by the disaster? The one caused by the disaster. Well, there's a lot to do. I think at the moment, for us, what is the most important, and this is at the center of our shelter group's work, is to make sure that every person that doesn't have a roof over its head has one. Yes? The funding that we are requesting, which is $35 million, is grant funding. So this is in no way going to add to the burden, the debt burden in the country. The priorities are in 7 sectors. Yes? So, and we will be sharing with you those 7 sectors. The needs include food security, agricultural support, water, education, health, including mental health. It includes shelter. It also includes debris and garbage removal.
The government of Turkey has donated a stock of dry rations and essential items amounting to $100,000. Turkey ambassador to Sri Lanka, Dr. Semi Lutfi Turgut, handed over the items to the Director General of the Disaster Management Center, retired Major General Sampath Kotuvegoda, today at the center.
We are here to give Turkish donations, humanitarian assistance items to Sri Lankan Disaster Management Center. Our bilateral relations are from heart to heart, from people to people. So in difficult times, both Turkey and Sri Lanka helped each other. And when we have received the humanitarian assistance requests from the Sri Lankan government, we immediately sent 2 of our experts from our aid agency. They have done extensive work on the field. They are writing their reports, and the first response was providing humanitarian assistance. And next year, depending on their report findings and depending on the Sri Lankan government necessities and needs, we are planning to do some development projects for the reconstruction period as well.
I would like to extend our gratitude to the government of Turkey and Turkey people for this generous donation at the critical time of need. Also, I would like to thank His Excellency, the Ambassador, for coordinating all these donations to reach us at the correct time.
French ambassador to Sri Lanka, Remy Lambert, says that the French government is ready to extend its support to the utmost to restore the country following the disaster situation. He pointed out that the French government is ready to extend support in many sectors to further strengthen the existing friendship between the two countries for many years. Lambert made these remarks when he met Deputy Minister Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando today. The ambassador stated that his government contributes directly to promote the arrival of French tourists to Sri Lanka with the aim of revitalizing Sri Lanka again. During the discussion, Minister Dr. Anil Jayantha Fernando said that unlike the earlier rulers, the present government implements only a prompt program under a single agenda supported by each ministry. Sri Lanka's diplomatic community in Colombo has made a collective personal contribution to the country's disaster relief efforts, with several ambassadors donating 3.6 million rupees from their own salaries to assist those affected. The donation was handed over today to Foreign Minister Vijitha Herath by Indonesian Ambassador Devi Gustina Tobing, the Dean of the Diplomatic Corps, during a ceremony at the Ministers' Bureau at the Republic Building. Ambassador and senior diplomats from the Republic of Korea, Switzerland and Maldives, Palestine, Oman and Italy participated in the handing over. Minister Vijitha Herath said he appreciated the solidarity shown by the envoys during a difficult period for Sri Lanka. The minister further added that this personal support from the diplomatic corps means a great deal to us at a time when many of our people are struggling. According to the ministry, the diplomats present, including Korean Ambassador Lee Myon, Swiss Ambassador Dr. Siri Watt, Maldivian High Commissioner Masood Imad, Palestinian Ambassador Ihab I.M. Khalil, Oman's chargé d'affaires Said Al-Harbi, and Italy's Deputy Head of Mission Alberto Arzidiacono.
During a meeting at the Presidential Secretariat today, Alison Hooker, the U.S. Under-Secretary for State for Political Affairs, expressed her confidence in President Anurukumara Dissanayaka's leadership in steering Sri Lanka's recovery and rebuilding efforts. She affirmed that the United States stands ready to provide any necessary support to assist Sri Lanka. Under-Secretary Alison Hooker also conveyed her condolences to the family of the victims of the disaster and expressed satisfaction at being able to extend assistance during this challenging period. President Anurukumara Dissanayaka conveyed his appreciation to the assistance provided by the President of the United States and the government in dispatching various relief teams to the country during the challenging period. President also acknowledged his sincere support offered to Sri Lanka by the friendly nations globally, including the United States. The President stated that restoring infrastructure, including highways and railways, as well as key income resources such as agriculture, livestock, and small to medium enterprises, which have been devastated by the floods and landslides, will require time. He also expressed the expectation of support from all friendly nations in this effort. The Under-Secretary of State emphasized the United States has drawn attention to restarting discussions regarding U.S. tariffs. Additionally, she expressed support for enhancing tourism between the United States and Sri Lanka, as well as for the growth of trade and maritime operations between the two nations. Furthermore, she highlighted the U.S. supports for Sri Lanka's initiatives to combat drug-related issues. President Anurukumara Dissanayaka noted that significant number of US American tourists have visited the country recently and that Sri Lanka anticipates a continued increase in such arrivals. She acknowledged the support of the US government in assisting Sri Lankan people to overcome the ongoing disaster and improving their quality of life.
Reconstruction of affected areas by the Ditwa cyclone and flood is now underway. The 25,000 rupee allowance provided by the government is also being paid to the victims at present. Particular road via Ambewala, which was damaged by the landslide occurred in Valimad area, has been opened for light vehicles. The road development activities are being carried out by the Road Development Authority. 2 buses out of the 4 buses blocked by the landslide occurred in the main bus stand premises in Muspanna town were removed yesterday. One SRTB bus and three private buses have been stuck by the landslide. With the help of the Road Development Authority, the SRTB bus and one of the private buses were removed from the map. It is reported that the rest of the buses cannot be removed as they have been completely submerged. The Donorelia-Gampola main road was opened yesterday only for light vehicles. The road has been damaged from several places due to landslides. Police request the motorists to be cautious. Norelia District Secretary Tushar Itindakon says that all disaster-hit roads in the district have been restored to normalcy at present. Vehicular transport along the main road that connects Vijayapura and Pudur villages has been disrupted due to the overflow of Mahavali River. Deputy Minister Dr. Hans Sakavijimuni today inspected the flood-affected Mahayangana Base Hospital. He held a lengthy discussion with the hospital staff. The reconstruction of the damaged Potava Anicut in the Ridimalia, the area, is now underway with the support of the Sri Lanka Army. Reconstruction of flood-affected Alahara Anicut has commenced. Speaker Dr. Jagat Vikramaratne today inspected its constructions. The 25,000 rupee allowance was paid to 304 families in the Tamankadua Divisional Secretariat area yesterday. The allowance was distributed at the Tamankadua Divisional Secretariat Auditorium under the patronage of the Deputy Minister. The 25,000 rupee allowance was also presented to the people in Puttlam district as well yesterday for the affected people in Nathandia Divisional Secretariat area.
Meanwhile, the National Planning Department has commenced a data collection program regarding the damaged businesses and properties due to the cyclone Detwa. Secretary to the Minister of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, stated that data will be obtained via divisional secretariat offices and other institutions. The assistance of private institutions has also been received for the program. Secretary to the Ministry of Finance, Planning and Economic Development, Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, said that the MIT institution has come forward to provide software required by the National Planning Department to free of cost. At the time when the assistance was required for reporting the concerned data information of the locations damaged by the disaster via digital methodology, the necessary information in this regard has been requested and the methodology has been enacted via concerned dashboards during the real-time updating of those information.
real time basis data update කරන වෙලාවටම අවශ්‍ය කරන dashboard හරහා එම තොරතුරු ලබා ගැනීමේ ක්‍රමවේදය ක්‍රියාත්මක කරවලා තියෙනවා.
Monetary and material aid has been received from countries around the world for the Rebuilding Sri Lanka program. According to Dr. Harshana Surya Peruma, financial aid has been received from countries including Australia, New Zealand, England, the Maldives, USA, Nepal, Switzerland, Canada, Ireland and Korea. In addition, World Bank, International Monetary Fund and Asian Development Bank have also agreed to provide aid. Deputy Registrar Theras of the Malwathu and Askiri chapters have stated that the program carried out by the President and the present government to rebuild the country and the lives of the people after calamity is commendable and they convey their blessings. Deputy Registrar of the Malwathu Mahavihara chapter of the Shampali Mahanikaya, Venerable Mahavaliya Ratnapala, and Deputy Registrar of the Askiri chapter and the custodian of the historic Badulu Mutyangana Rajamahavihara, Venerable Muruddeniye Sri Dharmaratna Theras, and the Divana Nilame of the Sri Dalda Maligav in Kanyandi, Pradeep Langadala, met President Anukumar Dissanayake this morning at the President's office. Pilot project of the island-wide Beyond Recovery program being reorganized under the Clean Sri Lanka program with the objective of raising mental health of the children and the elder community displaced due to the cyclone and the being sheltered in shelters commenced at Badul district yesterday. It is being carried out focusing safety centers established in the Mohorhala Mahavidyalaya and the Viharya belonging to the Mithukanda Divisional Secretariat Division.
The Meteorology Department has issued a strong warning notice regarding lightning in Kaluthara, Ratnapura, Gaul and Mathura districts. It further said that people of these districts will have to be on alert in this regard. Showers of thunder showers may occur intermittently in northern and north-central provinces and Puttlam and Trincomalee districts. Several rounds of rain will occur in central and Uva provinces and Kurunegala, Ampara and Batticaloa districts. The Met Department mentions that scattered rains might occur from Puttlam via Mannar, Kankasantare, Trincomalee up to Portville in sea areas offshore. Director of Disaster Management Centre Pradeep Kodipilli said that there is a decrease in the number of affected people by now, which is 524,000 taken as families. Water has receded in many areas and road systems have been cleared of obstructions to a great extent. Haggala National Botanical Garden has been closed due to rainy weather condition. According to our correspondent, the reason has been cited as that the parking area of the park is under the risk of a landslide. Officials of the National Building Research Organisation have inspected 6 buildings belonging to St. Mary's College, Bhagavantalava in the afternoon yesterday. This step has been taken as the principal had informed the Divisional Secretary of Norwood about the danger of several buildings of the school sinking. Senior scientist of the National Building Research Organisation, Dr. Vasanta Senadira, said that the landslide warning notice issued has been further extended, but evacuation notices are still intact in 37 divisional secretariat divisions in 4 districts. A considerable landslide occurrence has been reported from Meghakivula area in the morning yesterday and several areas in Badala district. Horupatana Pradesh Sabha has taken steps to cut open the tank barn at several places in order to safeguard Horupatana tank with continuous heavy rains. Horupatana Disaster Management Division informs that due to rains around Huruluvava catchment areas, the water level has increased due to the overflowing of Huruluvava. 2 sluice gates of Kaudula Reservoir has been opened 6 inches each. Polonnaruwa District Disaster Management Unit informs to use Kaudula oil with caution. 6 sluice gates of Rajangana Reservoir has been reopened. According to the irrigation engineer in charge of Rajangana, a volume of 3,840 cubic feet of water per second is being released to Kala Oya. Sluice gates of Nachduva Reservoir in Anuradhapura have been opened. Our correspondent says that all tanks under small and large-scale irrigation area are in spate. In Vaunia district, it has been reported that many areas are flooded in the district. Although there has been a letdown in the intensity of rains, vehicular traffic in certain areas has been hampered due to the flooding. Director of Irrigation, Hydraulics and Disaster Management Engineer L.S. Surya Bandara added that areas around Kalu and Ging rivers have received a rainfall of between 25 to 50 millimeters during the past 24 hours, and adjoining areas also have received a rainfall of less than 50 millimeters.
The government has decided to provide new loan facilities in order to rebuild industries damaged due to the disaster. Cabinet spokesman Minister Dr. Nalin Jayatissa expressed these views during a cabinet media briefing held today. Minister Dr. Nalin Jayatissa added that the government is providing necessary assistance to rebuild the agriculture, fisheries and other industries along with the business places devastated due to the calamity. A sum of 72.2 billion rupees and another 500 billion rupees in addition has been allocated in all to provide this assistance during the coming days of December. The minister mentioned that this has been described by the government as the biggest relief package in history during a disaster. Mr. Nalin Jayatissa pointed out that no government has provided this much relief during any disaster in the country. A sum of 25,000 rupees is being provided to clean houses, another 50,000 for kitchen utensils and to have access to the start of livelihood. 200,000 rupees per hectare in case of paddy cultivation has been damaged, and an addition of certain amount of relief loans are also being provided. A certain amount of money will also be provided for the livelihood and another 50,000 rupees for 3 months for those who have lost their jobs. Along with this, the money spent is from tax payment of the people. The provision of these reliefs has been possible to expenditure with proper management. It has been also mentioned during the cabinet media briefing that the evacuation process of the people during the disaster situation has to be strengthened further. The minister said that no person should die due to this situation, and a large number of lives have been saved with the issuing of notices. According to the National Research Organisation, each mounds have collapsed extent of 3.5 to 5 kilometers at certain places. There were persons who did not expect a serious danger of this magnitude. The assistance of the Air Force had to be obtained to evacuate people in Marvel Aro. He added that the government maintains its stand to evacuate people even by force in situations of this nature and to carry out the disaster management. Information regarding 1,241 landslides has been reported. The minister said that it has been reported via satellite images that the occurrence of 1,241 landslides, although the meteorology science has developed, the country is still behind it. The government expects to operate Doppler radar by 2027, and if the country had these radars in 2007, it would have been able to provide more definite forecasts, he pointed out. The minister pointed out that the voluntary relief program is being carried out from the funds of the party. Mr. Dr. Nalinda Jayatissa said that the voluntary relief activities are being conducted with the help of party funds, not the funds of the government. It is requested from all to provide assistance in rebuilding the country at this crucial juncture.
The government has focused its attention to import several essential food items in order to control the artificial price hike created in the market. Attention was paid to this effect during the Food Security Committee, which met yesterday. The Food Security Committee met led by Ministers Vasantha Samarasinghe and Kedilal Kantha at the Presidential Secretariat. Discussion centered on the supply of essential food items to people and the prices in the post-disaster period. Several decisions were also taken to abort the efforts to raise prices artificially by certain traders in the wake of damages to cultivated lands. Accordingly, attention was paid to import potatoes, big onions and dal via the State Trading General Corporation and the Cooperative Wholesale Establishment. The Consumer Affairs Authority conducted inspections at several shops in Mathli town. Steps were taken to take legal action against several shop owners who ordered kiri samba and samba varieties of rice. Several other traders were warned for not selling meat and eggs following the proper methodology. Director of Consumer Information of the Consumer Affairs Authority, Asela Bandara, stated that special raids will be conducted island-wide during the upcoming festive season. Director of Consumer Information of the Consumer Affairs Authority, Asela Bandara, pointed out that 27 raids were conducted yesterday alone island-wide. Raids especially pertaining to selling of rice at a high price, misleading consumers, not mentioning details of commodities, not displaying the price list were conducted. A 6-month guarantee has to be provided for electric appliances, and action will be taken against those traders who does not provide them. The raids will be conducted paying special attention regarding gazette notifications issued under the Consumer Affairs Authority Act. The consumers can forward their complaints to the Consumer Affairs Authority via hotline number 1977.
Prime Minister Dr. Haruna Amarasuriya says that correct data is needed for the process of normalizing the country after the disaster situation. She pointed out the need to implement a proper mechanism with public participation to gather data. The Premier discussed this fact in a discussion held in the Prime Minister's office yesterday in normalizing the country. Professor Nihal Pereira delivered a special lecture on how the development process of the country should go hand in hand by minimizing national disasters. The Prime Minister also stated a major problem starting development programs is the lack of systems to pile up data of various sectors in one particular platform.
The Cabinet has approved to pay an allowance of 25,000 rupees to all affected religious places for cleaning and normalizing. The proposal was presented by President Andrew Kumar Dissanayaka. The necessary provisions required for the activities is scheduled to be allocated by the Ministry of Buddhisasana, Religious and Cultural Affairs. The Asian Development Bank has given its concurrence to provide a grant of $3 million under Asia Pacific Disaster Response Fund. The Cabinet has given approval to a proposal presented by the President to sign the relevant agreement. It is expected to procure the materials needed to provide life-saving services for affected communities. The Cabinet of Ministers have nodded to the activation of emergency response components that is within the World Bank project Physical in action at present to assist for the post-disaster recovery requirements. Accordingly, an amount between 92 to 112 million is to be drawn to implement proposed emergency treatment mobile project. The proposal was made by the President. The approval of the Cabinet of Ministers was granted to invite requests for resolutions from interested developers of the private sector in order to implement the establishment of 2 wind power stations of 50 megawatts each in Mullikulam of Mannar region. The proposal was made by Minister Kumara Jayakodi. The proposal to purchase vehicles for improving of primary healthcare system across the island was also approved by the Cabinet of Ministers. It was presented by Minister Dr. Nalinda Chatissa. The approval to obtain funds from the Asian Development Bank to implement the Stage 2 project of the Mahavali Water Security Investment Program has been granted at the Cabinet meeting. Accordingly, a sum of $200 million are to be funded through the Asian Development Bank. The proposal was presented by the President.
Colombo Magistrate Court today ordered Criminal Investigation Department to issue open warrants against 2 suspects, including former Governor of the Central Bank, Arjun Mahendran, who has been named as a suspect of the complaint filed in connection with an investigation on money laundering, to be arrested and produced before the courts. The order was issued when the relevant complaint was summoned before the Colombo Chief Magistrate Asangan Bodharagama today. The CID has lodged the complaint against the perpetual treasuries and the suspects, including former Governor of the Central Bank, under Money Laundering Act. When the case was summoned today, the directors of the perpetual treasuries, Arjun Aloysius, Jeffrey Aloysius, Kasun Palisena and VM Gunawardana and Muthuraja Surendran, appeared before the court. The named other suspect, former Governor of the Central Bank, Arjun Mahendran, and Anjan Gadrayan Pacheva, did not appear before the court. The Chief Magistrate ordered the CID to issue open warrants against 2 suspects and produce them before the courts. Considering the facts submitted, the Magistrate ordered the CID to complete the relevant investigation and submit report with immediate effect. The complaint needs to be summoned again on the 21st of May next year.
The police says 997 suspects have been taken into custody in connection with the drug-related offences yesterday under the Nation United National Operation. Under this operation, 27,953 persons have been checked by yesterday. Out of them, 20 suspects have been identified as direct connections with the narcotics. The Police Narcotic Bureau has taken a 53-year-old suspect from Anambekema area in Habbigamua, Tanamalbila. The Bureau has also discovered property and assets amounting to 180 million rupees earned by drug rackets. The suspect has purchased these assets under the name of the wife of the suspect. Amblipitia and Tangol High Courts have issued a 7-day order with effect from today to freeze the assets. 5 suspects who had planned to commit a murder have been taken into custody yesterday in Ratmalana area. The Western Province South Crime Division says that the murder has been planned as a revenge to a murder committed near a playground at Vanaratna in Rodia in the Devivala, and to inflict heavy casualties to other person. The 5 suspects are at the range of 22 to 36 years of age. Police have also seized a motorcycle and 15 grams of heroin with their possession. The gunman and 3 other suspects who are connected to the shooting incident that inflicted heavy casualties to a person who was travelling in a 3-wheeler at Borlugoda area in Koskama have been taken into custody. Homagama Police Crime Investigation Division says that the shooting incident has been planned by the member of organised gang and a drug leader who is now in overseas.
Sri Lanka's centuries-old practice of Kittul Madima, or the traditional method of tapping sap from the Kittul palm, has been added to the UNESCO's list of intangible cultural heritage in need of safeguarding.
The Kittul plant, scientifically known as Caryota urens, is a native to Sri Lanka and is also found in over 50 countries worldwide. The technique of Kittul tapping is unique to Sri Lanka and is not practiced elsewhere. Kittul flower cutting occurs 3 times a day, in the morning, afternoon and evening. This collected sap, known as Meera, is brought home and used to make Kittul Triakal or Kittul Jaggery. The use of traditional medicine during flower preparation, climbing process and triakal conversion to boiling and jaggery making Preserving Kithul as intangible cultural heritage is crucial for future generations. The knowledge system associated with traditional Kithul tapping can be recognized as one of the most unique knowledge systems found in Sri Lanka.
At least 12 people have died in a fire at a residential building in southern China, the first major incident of its kind in the mainland since last month's Hong Kong blaze. The fire broke out at around on Tuesday in Chateau in Guangdong province and was put out about 40 minutes later. The building was a 4-story reinforced concrete structure and about 150 square meters were affected by the fire, local authorities said. On Wednesday, the Guangdong provincial government announced that a task force of police, emergency management and disciplinary officials had been formed to investigate the cause of the fire. The Sri Lanka women's sumo team won the bronze medal at the 2025 Commonwealth Sumo Championship held in Russia.
The medal-winning team arrived in the country via Kotnaik Airport amidst a warm welcome. The 2025 Commonwealth Sumo Championship was held in Moscow in Russia recently. A number of Commonwealth sumo wrestlers participated. The 4-member Sri Lankan junior women's team participated in the championship. They achieved the bronze medal in the women's open event. The officials of the Sri Lanka Sumo Federation and parents of the players, along with a group of others, were present to welcome the team. That's it for tonight's English News telecast. Thank you for joining us. Good night.